Hey, welcome back to Matter of Fact. Today we got the breakdowns for the week 3 early window games. We're going to finish out the rest of the slate here tomorrow, but we're going to run through these. How you feeling about this week? I'm hyped because people starting to talk shit in fantasy now and seeing like a lot of shit talking happening right now. Season started now.
It's week 3. So long way to go, bro. So I'm just staying focused, locking in.
Well, this is my squad, so I guess I'll get it started. Giants versus Browns. Now they have no Miles Garrett, so that should help out the protection with Daniel Jones. This is the best Giants O line I've probably seen in 10 plus years, to be honest. Since maybe like around that Super Bowl era when we won in like 2011 or whatever. Like we got the O line coach from the Raiders, Carmen B Diallo or whatever. I'm just gonna call him CB. We got CB from the Raiders. My boy AJ's a Raiders fan. He hit me sick because their O line isn't looking good, and I think a big part of that is they're missing that O line coach. So this is why I didn't want them to invest into the draft with any of their picks for the O line because Andrew Thomas, we got our center in the second round last year. Evan Neal's looking like a bust, but that was a first round pick. We spent money in the offseason. So on the side with the Browns, Deshaun Watson looked better, but it's like it's like going from like -5 back to 1 when we expected you to be at like an 8 or 9 for me. You know what I mean? Like it was a good game compared to what we've seen him be. Not really a good game for what they paid for and what we expected out of him. But I mean, how do you think this is going to go? Me personally, I think we're going to cover the spread.
It depends on, again, like it's I honestly at this point I still have no clue what these teams are. Did you guys what's up with y'all's kicker? What was up with that situation?
We got it's so annoying. The next day we worked out 4 kickers. Just like, why didn't you do that the week before? But pass is the pass. I think we have Greg Joseph, former Vikings kicker, so I like that. Okay. We have like a weird fascination with getting kickers that hit like 60 yarders to beat us and shit, because even Graham Gano, when he was on the Panthers, hit us with like a 63 yarder in a really important game back then. So, but yeah, Greg Joseph, and he's 30 instead of 37. So,
but yeah, as long as the kicker situation is fine, I don't really know what kind of team you guys have. And again, like you said with Deshaun Watson, if he plays decent, they should be able to kind of take care of it. They still have one of the better defenses in the NFL. I know they might be without, or they are going to be without Myles Garrett, but they still got some blue chip players on that squad. And, I just think that right now, they probably have a little bit more talent. LB Denzel Ward will be guarding your blue chip wide receiver Malik Neighbors, the rookie stud who had over 160 yards, 120 yards. How many yards do you have last game?
Around like 130, 10 catches.
130. Yeah. So that'll be Denzel Ward will be assigned to him, and that'll be a nice matchup to watch. Again, I think Malik Neighbors.
I'm not really worried about the Warden, man. To be honest, I'm not gonna lie to you. My man's just unguardable.
Okay, all right. Well, unguardable. That's good for him. Good for him. And hopefully, you guys can play these cats tough. I know some people are kind of calling for Dayball's head or whatever the situation is, but I think it's a little bit too early for that. And yeah, it should be a good win for you guys if you could pull it out. And obviously, if you're Cleveland, you're just trying to get out of here with a win, injury free.
And now, I'm glad we started with a game with such a large spread, 6.5, because we have to remember last week it was a bloodbath for those big spreads. So it's still early, like Austin said. No Miles Garrett, but we're also Brian Burns popped up on the injury report. He's questionable. Um, Jack Conklin and Jedrick Wills on the Browns O line, they're questionable. So, when you're betting, unless you're one of those guys getting the early lines in, make sure you check that injury report. If it's, Friday, Saturday, the morning of, make sure you do that. But on a side note, you said something that just sparked something I definitely wanted to. Oh, yeah, before we get off them, I'm not understanding why, like, all right, give me your take on this, right? A GM and a head coach coming together, right? They coming together from the same regime somewhere else. They both get their promotions with this new team. Do you think it's realistic for the GM to stay and he just fire that coach unless the owner's really on him to do that? Like, do you think that's realistic for somebody that, obviously last year was a down year, but
it all comes down to winning and losing, man. It is. So it's like, these are tough decisions, but that's why he's a GM. You got to make tough decisions sometimes. I don't necessarily think that this is a situation where that has to happen. And I think if everyone's thinking logically, I don't know if that would happen, but you just never know with these owners. They're sporadic, and yeah, I don't think that the GM wants to fire Dayball, and maybe he can
they're like,
kind
and
of.
here's my thing with that. Like, besides Dayball, they were calling for Shane's head even during like the Hard Knocks, right? And it's annoying about the Giants. I have
But
no.
who's calling for their head? Because it's like you can't
The same people that's calling for the same people calling for
right.
Dayball.
But it's like that's the thing too. It's like, look, we know the loud people in the room, like the small group of people talk the loudest. It is like, just because there's a small group of people saying it, it doesn't mean that like the logical people are thinking that. It is kind of, it goes to where it's like, oh, Cowboys are delusional fans. But like in reality, bro, like 14% of our fan base actually believes in this football team on like a polls.
That's a
So
good
it's just
point
kind of.
because after that loss to the Packers, they're calling for Mike McCarthy, and it's like, I mean, he's still Mike McCarthy. Like, he still has that ring. He still is a great offensive mind. I think it's just a defense with you guys. But my whole thing is, like, in terms of my fan base, this is just before we move on to my fan base. Y'all wanted Joe Shane out of here so bad. We get the most shit for letting Saquon go. Everybody gets praised for not paying running backs. You can't pay. This is the era of not paying running backs. We're the only team who doesn't pay our running back a premium and get shit on for it. Malik Neighbors, Drew Phillips, and Tyler Nubin are looking like smash picks. So what's the problem with Joe Shane again? And on top of that, our 6th-round linebacker caught a pick in his first game in week 1. 6th-round linebacker. And I like little Tyrone Tracy. People are like, okay, he's a 25-year-old running back rookie. He only has 1 season as a running back. He was a wide receiver turned running back. And I like Theo Johnson. I like his potential. But besides that, stop overreacting, man. We've been in disarray with the front office for a while. Give them time to get their quarterback. But let's move on.
Right. Fans don't want to do it. But you got to practice patience, especially in the NFL, especially this early in the NFL. But we're over here to Green Bay and Tennessee. This one's going to be this is actually an interesting one. We got
Very
Tennessee
interesting.
favored by 2.5. I mean, shoot, I kind of just, it's tough because Tennessee actually probably should be 2-0 right now, and they're 0-2. A lot of people are giving Will Levis some hell. Some of it maybe he deserves, but a lot of it is like, yo,
you see how he got his number leaked and he had to change his number and he was getting shit on. You know how that goes. He's not doing well. Number
right.
And
it's like, yo,
his little tanks.
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to make plays out there. Like it's not going well for him, or he does have his struggles or whatever, and got his coach chewing him out on the sideline. But I mean, Tennessee looks like a solid football team. Tony Pollard, again, he looks healthy. He looks like the Tony Pollard that was explosive 2 years ago before the injury.
How
So,
much did they
you
pay
know,
him, and how did you feel about letting him go? Would you have liked to keep him in Dallas?
I mean, he got paid a nice. I want to say it's probably about $8 million annually, and I just kind of knew we were in a situation where we weren't going to pay that much for him.
At that point, go get Derrick Henry.
Right. Or draft Braylon Allen. So
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
just one of those.
Hindsight though. I mean, y'all could have went with one of these other, good running backs that went before him. That's hurt right now, and that's useless for y'all right now.
Yeah, yeah. It's just one of those situations. But I'm happy for Tony Pollard. He's from Memphis, so he went back home. It's all good. I'm glad he's healthy.
Oh, I didn't know
As
that. That's cool.
as for Green Bay, they just upset Indianapolis. That's a well coached team. Pretty solid roster. I know the quarterback didn't have the best game. Actually, had a pretty bad game, 3 interceptions.
Terrible
But
game.
uh,
Ugly
you know,
watch.
the way that they're playing on offense is essentially like, look, we're running the ball. We're running the ball with Josh Jacobs, and he's a solid running back. Running back one. If you guys picked him up in fantasy, you're sitting pretty right now. It looks like Jordan Love actually is going to end up playing in this game. I
That's
know
what
he
I
was
wanted to
limited.
get to.
Yeah,
What's the latest news on that? It says he's still questionable.
yeah,
I think he's going to play, and the line movement. Vegas is going to know before anybody. The line movement's kind of, pointing in
yeah.
that direction as well. So
He Josh Jacobs was quoted saying that he was limited with like a grin, a little wink. So I think that Josh,
I think they're trying to surprise him, right?
yeah, I
A
think I
little
think
bit.
so.
Like
And
there's no
if he's
point
able to
in
play,
there's no point in being announcing as soon as he's good. But we've been hearing good things coming out of practice with that.
right?
Obviously, if Malik Willis got to start, it'd be like a little revenge game. But I like the quote that he gave about, just liking getting a chance. They did right by him and very professional. I'm rooting for Malik Willis.
Yeah,
So
and even if he is a professional backup quarterback, that's still what I mean. Like it
that's the
seems like
best. That's one of the best
yeah.
jobs in the world.
Right, but
Like
it just seems like he's in a good place. Like he's in a good place mentally, and he's with a team that is, Matt LaFleur doesn't need him. Like we talked about this already, but he doesn't need to come in here and be a franchise saving quarterback. It's just like, look, you're the backup. We needed you. I'm gonna work with everything that you have. You can throw it to the first read if it's there. If not, pull it down and run. That's fine. We'll work with that. And that's what they did. And they won a game off of it. So he's already did his job. You know what I mean? Like his job for the season, his job well done. I played the
and
game, started
he
it, we got it done.
very very efficient. Obviously, we know he's a great scrambler, and then he worked the mic real well. So I think he's auditioning for another chance. Obviously, Jordan Love's the guy there, but I think Green Bay wouldn't mind keeping him there.
Yeah.
Just for those
Yeah.
emergency situations.
Tyrod
Um,
Taylor, I mean, he's had a full career off of this. So good for
hey,
him.
so we didn't do the primer last week, and I noticed Josh Jacobs not in the must starts, and Malik Neighbors wasn't in the must starts, according to Fantasy Pros. What do you think about that? You don't think Malik Neighbors is a must start, bro?
Again, we
He's
always
the
go back to
offense.
this. He's a strong start. He's
Oh
a
my.
strong. Seriously, it is like
What
that's what I'm
about
saying.
Josh Jacobs though? You just said we
But
were saying pretty. What about him?
I think that he's a and again it's relative to your team. If he's your third, maybe what I mean. If you got Devin A. Chain and who am I playing? I'm playing. So I think I'm playing some studs at wide receiver. I don't. Let me see. Like James Conner. I guess yeah. Like if you got like Devin A. Chain, James Conner, are you starting? Who are you starting? Are you starting those guys? Or are you starting Malik Neighbors? You know.
Wait,
So
Josh
I
Jacobs
mean,
or
oh yeah, Josh Jacobs or like who would you be stuck? What is going? Where's it at? Oh, okay, I'm back. All right, cool. Where yeah, would you start James Conner over
let
Josh
me
Jacobs?
James Conner. Who they playing? But that's when it comes into the matchup. So the Cardinals, I
And
believe, they're playing the Lions.
yeah, you know what I mean? Or like Devin A Chain. Like I think Devin A Chain is a must start. You know what I mean? I think Bijan is a must start. Some people could probably make an argument that Josh Jacobs shouldn't, maybe if they're solid at running back, they might not be starting him. I'm starting him. I mean, he's the running back. He's in my hero running back build. He is the hero running back. So like for me, he gonna always be a must start. But yeah, I guess it's just depending on your team. But I
Yeah,
think that's the
yeah.
difference
To
between must start
and
and strong start.
to be fair too, in my league that I do have Malik Neighbors, I also have DJ Moore and Rasheed Rice. And Neighbors, I have him in my flex, but he's kind of purposely there because I named my team after him. It's the same
Mm-hmm.
thing with my team that has a Tyreek Hill. He's in my flex spot just as a you're the namesake. But yeah, back to this game though. It should definitely be interesting. What do you think about that over under? I think that's pretty low. I'm not saying this is going to be a shootout, but you,
I mean, I think it's just one of those things where one, they're probably not accounting for Jordan Love starting yet, so that's part of it. And when you're run heavy as both these teams are going to be, it's the pace of play and everything like that. It's not necessarily like it's going to be a fast paced game. They're not going to be throwing the ball. It's not going to be a lot of incompletions. The clock's going to be running, and I think that has a lot to do with why the under is so low. However, there are, even though, the quarterbacks maybe aren't some of the top tier quarterbacks in the NFL, there are some big playmakers in this game. Jaden Reed's a big playmaker. Christian Watson at any time, if he's healthy, can make a big play. We already know DeAndre Hopkins and Calvin Ridley, they've been doing it for years.
is Tucker
So
Craft going for that tight end one spot, man? He kind of looking
they're
like
like
him.
interchanging both of them. They're still using both of them, but yeah, I guess they're just kind of figuring out which one we want to use. But I mean, I guess that's a good problem to have. They got two good young
That's like their whole
tight
offense,
ends.
really. Like when it comes to the receivers, you never know who's and there might be a Dontavius Wicks game. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Romeo Dobbs, right. They
mhm.
got so many players on their team that are good. And I think that's why people are
So high on them.
yeah, right. As a football team as a whole, not necessarily like in fantasy, but just as a well put together football team. I think that's why people are so high on them.
They're definitely going to be like uh, a formidable opponent and like force in the league for years to come. Jordan
Oh,
Love
for
keeps
sure.
up the production here, but Calvin Ridley, definitely the alpha in the room right now. It's just Will Levis got to cut out the boneheaded plays. You know what I mean? That's really what it comes down to. That's part of the reason why I might take the over if it doesn't move too much, because I feel like he could make some mistakes that gives the Packers good field position. They capitalize on that. So, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
really looking forward to that game. It's an early window game that I really like. But who do you think, or who do you have to like cover and
Uh,
win?
I mean, I'm kind of like a Green Bay guy, weirdly enough, and one of my buddies is actually at the game, so I think Green Bay goes ahead and pulls it out this week. Think they're just a well coached team, and Tennessee, as much as they are talented and they have guys on both sides of the football. I just think that the better quarterback will be Jordan Love, and I think he is going to play, and so I think that Green Bay ends up pulling it out.
Same. All right. Bears in Indianapolis. Colts are -1.5. This should be pretty interesting. Caleb Williams going through interesting little gauntlet. Who did they play week one? Didn't he play like another young quarterback?
Um, week
They
one,
played
well, he played Will Levis.
yeah,
Will
he played
Levis.
Will Levis. So Will Levis, then CJ Stroud. Now he got Anthony Richardson. He going through that year two
Yeah,
to three gauntlet. Like, you know what I mean? Hopefully,
yeah.
maybe Anthony Richardson goes crazy this game, bounce back, and gives him a nice little bro talk at the end of the game. And it's like,
Yeah.
nah, people are blowing that shit out of proportion, though. You know, CJ Stroud, he plays like a 10-year vet. He moving like a 10-year vet, man. He should take that advice. I would.
I mean, hey, he got CJ Stroud, bro. Like he has control of his team. He has control of his offense, and he said, and even he's the first one to tell you. You know, he's like, well, what do you think? Why do you think you command the offense, and why do you think these people don't mind, you being their leader? Da da da. He's like, I played well. I'm good. I was good. So they respected me. Like going in as a rookie, they didn't know anything, but I was good last year. So they gonna respect me, And it's just
And
one of those things.
them vets know off the jump, like if you got it or not. It doesn't take very long before,
Right.
they know it before week one. Like, nah, we got a guy here. So
Right. They see the throws.
it was
They see the
before
touches.
the first kickoff. So, but
Yeah.
back to Caleb though. Um, what do you think about this game, man? This one's interesting. I think it's interesting for all the 0-2 teams because, like, if you start 0-3, we have the stats to show if you make the playoffs or not. And then when you take into account that division,
Yeah. I
the
mean,
only silver lining is I think in that division, all the teams are 0-2 except the Texans, who are 2-0.
right. And I mean, I think it's just one of those situations where, again, it is only week 2. I mean, will be week 3, but they can win this game. But at the same time, maybe it's going to go. It's probably going to come down to what quarterback is turning over the ball. Anthony Richardson had 3 turnovers last week. Caleb Williams got sacked 7 times, and I think he had 2 interceptions. So if they can clean that up, that will be the deciding factor in the football game. Right now, I just think these teams are as even as it gets, which is why the spread is at -1.5,
I
giving it
feel
to
like
the home team.
I feel like last time I checked, I feel like it was a pickup. I might be mixing the games up, but yeah, this one's a coin flip. The Colts can't stop anybody in the run game, so but like the Bears run game isn't anything crazy to
Right.
really take advantage of that. So
Yeah. I mean,
that's
every
why
every DeAndre Swift owner is just like annoyed, and I have him on one of my teams. I didn't want to draft him; he was an auto draft, but
he was on
he's
my no draft list too. Not gonna lie, I
yeah.
wasn't really, and I like him as a player. It's just you never know. Never
Yeah,
know with him.
and he's considered a strong start this week, and I think this is the week. Like this is the week that hopefully he can do something. And
You
I ain't gonna
starting
lie to
him,
you,
huh? You starting him. That's
I
what
mean
you're
I had no
saying.
choice. I
Yeah.
had to, but I'm not even gonna lie to you. I need him to do something, and I'm trading them immediately. Like give me two
I
times. Give
was
me.
just I was just talking about that. This might be a good game because the Colts run defense, they can't stop anybody in the run. So yeah, ship
Yeah,
them off right after. You had the name
yeah.
value,
Get
1,000 yard
give me
season
Give me a
last year. Leverage
78
that.
yards, 78 yards and 2 touchdowns, and I'm shipping him out. I'm packing his shit and he's gone. Like for whatever I can get.
Nah, I got you. Roman Dunze is healthy. Um, I feel like this is going to be a game where he does his thing. I feel like I'm feeling a Roma Dunze breakout game. Him and Caleb came in together. I think DJ Moore is going to eat. I just have a feeling that I don't know. I just don't want to really bet against Shane Steichen, and I believe in Anthony Richardson despite the poor play last week. So, are they really going to start 0-3? Especially when the Bears could have easily lost week 1. The Bears could easily be 0-2 right now.
Yeah,
So
I mean, you're right. And I mean this is how football goes. And it looks a little murky right now for Indianapolis, but I mean it's nothing for them. Yeah, they went on a 2-game losing streak, but it's nothing for them to go on a 3-game winning streak. You know what I mean? That's just kind of how football goes. It's just we're so impatient because we have to wait an entire week to see the next results. You know what I mean? Like we have to wait so long
you know,
that
you know
we
what it's
start
like.
panicking.
It's like Game of Thrones or something, where it's like, all
Right.
right, now I gotta wait till next Sunday for and
Right.
it's
You
that
can't
build
binge
up.
this.
What's
We
going to
can't.
happen next?
Right. We can't
Yeah,
binge
yeah,
the
you can't
NFL
binge it.
season. You gotta
You can't binge it like the NBA. Like, all
wait.
right, well, we got a
Yeah.
back to back tomorrow. Nope.
Right. 3 games this week or something like that. And Michael Pittman, I got him in one of my leagues. Again, another person that was auto drafted. A little annoyed by him, but at the same time, I think it's just one of those things where they call it a squeaky wheel. He hasn't really done his thing yet. He hasn't came out and pouted or complained. But like you said, Shane Steichen is a very good head coach. He knows who his playmakers are. He knows who isn't getting the ball right now. And I just think that this is going to be the week where everything's kind of gets put together. It's going to be clean. Think Josh Richardson is going to clean some. I mean, Anthony Richardson is going to clean some things up. They're going to get Josh Downs back to play in the slot, and I think him having his little safety valve slot wide receiver is going to be something that can help out the team and probably help the offense get some rhythm. You know, like I know this is football, but kind of like in basketball, the most important thing in basketball when you're struggling scoring the basketball is seeing the ball go into the hoop. I just want to see the ball go into the hoop. So get to the free throw line. Boom. Okay. All right. I got two at the free throw line. Now I'm good. Now I'm ready to hoop. And I think with Anthony Richardson, for him, I think he just needs to complete a few passes. You know what I mean? Like, let's get some to the slot. Let's get a first down or two. And now we're in the rhythm of football. We don't have to take everything. Don't have to be a deep shot, you know? And I think Michael Pittman is going to get involved. I think Josh Downs is going to help out. And I think we're going to see a cleaner game from the offense in all together for the Colts this week.
Yeah, that's a toss up. I don't really have an opinion on who's going to win that quite yet, but I'm leaning Bears.
Right. I mean, yeah, the Bears still have a shot. Obviously, we just talked about the running game. The Indianapolis Colts defense is weak there, and the Bears have a very talented defense. And like I said, I think this is just going to be up to whoever is the cleanest football team and like whatever quarterback isn't turning the ball over, you know?
Nah, for sure. All right,
This
so
is
we
going to be a
got
fun one.
Houston. We got Houston, going out to the cold. Minnesota Vikings, over unders 46. Texans are -2 on the road. Hey, man, it's hard for me to bet against the Texans, not going to lie, but the Vikings, Kevin O'Connell, man, needs his flowers, man. He has these boys playing. So this is another fun one. This is like a early slate that like I'm going to be locked into my couch watching Red Zone with this one, and then having the Giants game off to the side for sure. But
Yeah.
how you feel about this one?
For this
No
one,
Joe Mixon.
I can see an upset here. This is not an upset, but I can see Minnesota Vikings pulling this out. Justin Jefferson, I mean, I don't know what to say about him. He's just an amazing wide receiver. I mean,
Respectfully, he's not Garrett Wilson. Respectfully.
Respectfully, he's not. And it's just like, yo,
He really showed. He really,
yeah.
I love when players talk
97
shit
yards.
and then, well, not really talk shit,
He
but
wasn't
it
even-
was
yeah,
kind of,
he-
yeah, it was. It's like Cam Taylor Britt. He talked his shit and he had play of the year to me. That pick was
So far.
insane.
Yeah.
So shout out to him.
Like this dude,
He's out there hooping.
This dude Justin Jefferson is smoking double teams, like double team bracket coverage, smoking it, and it's just like no one else. I never see anyone do it as much as he does that. And it's the most impressive thing on the football field for a 97-yard touchdown. Is crazy.
Easily best receiver in the league, hands down.
Yeah, and I mean, Brian Flores is he's killing it. He's killing it as a defensive coordinator right now, and he's going up against a second-year QB. I think he got something for him. I don't think that is not anything that CJ can't handle, but I do think that this is going to be a tough, hard-fought game, and I wouldn't be surprised if Minnesota ended up pulling this one out here at home.
Yeah, this is a game I just want to enjoy that I don't really want to bet too much. But, Jalen Naylor's doing a good job being that wide receiver too while Jordan Addison's out. And that's the crazy part about this Vikings team is they haven't had Hawk and they haven't really had Jordan Addison and they're still doing their thing.
And more importantly, they're playing with Sam Darnold as their QB.
Hey, he was drafted in the top 10. You know what I mean? Don't sleep on that boy, man.
It's just funny. He got out of Carolina and he's successful.
He got out of New York. Then he got out of Carolina. Where was he? Somewhere before? I think he was on the Niners.
San Francisco,
now, right?
Yeah. San Francisco.
Yeah.
I mean, there's something to that trajectory. You end up in San Francisco. You end up with Sean McVay in Los Angeles. You learn a few things. You go to your next team. you take what you learn from those guys, and you're able to excel a
So,
little bit.
some of these teams are quarterback rehabilitation centers.
Yeah, and
Simple.
we gotta talk about Nico Collins here, man, because this dude
He is a beast.
I mean, he's a
He is
problem.
a
He's
beast, man.
Yeah,
A beast.
like I got him. I have him in one of my leagues or whatever. But I mean, this dude is just like whatever you want him to do, he can do it. And I think I don't know how long he's going to be able to keep this up for. But I mean,
As, as long as
he's
his
just killing
quarterback's named
people.
Stroud.
Yeah, I mean, averaging over 100 yards a game. Just like he's CJ right now. He is CJ Stroud's wide receiver one, and like he's just solid. He's the alpha over there, and this dude is unstoppable. Like he looks like a top five wide receiver. Like if people want to put him in the top five, yeah, I can't really argue with them. I mean, and especially with AJ Brown being out, Debo Samuel's being out, like some of the top tier wide receivers being injured right now. This cat, if you got him in that 2-3 turn, I mean, you're living life right now. I know I am.
Yeah, and I feel. I mean, I didn't like where he was being drafted, but I was definitely wrong because I just didn't know. I thought it was going to be more spread out with Tank Dell and Stephon Diggs, but he's clearly the alpha. He's getting open. He big frame, fast, smooth route running. He's
It's just
doing
a,
it all. So
yeah. I
disgusting.
mean,
But let's see if Brian Flores could give him fits. But like I don't know, man. CJ Stroud, he's like Neo from the Matrix. So good luck. It's gonna be real interesting. Kevin O'Connell versus Brian Flores. That's like the matchup to me.
yeah, and if he's available, he's probably not by now. The news just came out that Joe Mixon and Damian Pierce are doubtful for this week's game. But if he is available, Cam Akers is a solid pickup. And I mean, not because, he's some special talent or anything like that, but just based off the production and the offense that he's going to be in. If they can control the clock, Minnesota plays a lot of two high safeties, so he's going to get a lot of two high looks where he has seven guys in the box. Those are really the type of looks that favor to run. So, and Bobby Slowick, one thing about him is he loves
Wait.
running. He runs on first down.
Are you saying they shouldn't ban too high safety, bro? Like just
No,
ban
I
it.
mean,
Just ban a
yeah.
coverage.
Nah, you can't do that. But yeah, but this week, take the if he's still available,
How much help do the offenses need?
hey,
We took that last generation of quarterback play for granted is what I'm saying, to be honest. Because shit, I mean, when you saw how Aaron Rodgers was looking, I mean, you think he's complaining about too high safety, my guy? Like, nah, you're gonna have to trick Aaron Rodgers. You're gonna have to show him something. You're gonna have to catch him
yeah.
slipping.
I mean, but that's the thing, and that's the thing that Brian Flores is doing right now is he's disguising his defense. It ends up ending up being too high at the end of the day, but the looks that he gives you pre-snap, what he's showing these QBs, is confusing them. But at the end of the day, he does kind of go back to some form of whether it be invert or not, cover too high look. So that'll be something to see what CJ Stroud does with that. And I'm actually, like I said, like pretty excited for this game right here.
I'm excited for this one too.
Mm, mm.
Yeah, let's see what the so this, kind of previewing, we're not giving our picks today. We're going to give our favorite picks tomorrow, but this is definitely going to be a part of it. Now, I prefer it at -2.5, so I'll probably buy a half a point, but I think the Saints got this one in the bag. I think Jalen Hurts, he plays a lot better when AJ Brown's on the field, flat out. Like it's in the numbers, it's the eye test.
I mean, I
It's
would too. I would play better.
yeah.
You be, I'm sure a lot of like AJ Brown, as annoying as he is, on being a Philadelphia Eagle and all that, like he is arguably a top five wide receiver.
I will never forgive Tennessee for allowing this shit to happen. But
Can't
hey, this is
can't.
what it looks like if that trade, or what was it, free agency, or is it a trade?
Yeah. Well, no, it was a trade. It was a trade during draft day. It was a draft day trade.
They just trying to be too just overthinking it, bro.
Yeah.
Overthinking it. I mean, you have a wide receiver one, you pay him, and then you try to replace him with Traylon Burks, and now you just had to pay Calvin Ridley, I believe, the same amount that AJ Brown got at that time. I think.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
who's
I mean,
better?
essentially,
Who's
but
better?
that's a different GM. It's a different,
I know,
different
man,
all
but
that. But
you
yeah,
know these niggas
that
are
was
in
a
our division,
horrible
so it
look.
pisses me off. And y'all traded that trade uh that y'all did with them so they could get Devontae Smith. You know,
Yeah,
that whole offense is blowing me. But yeah, man, I think the Saints, Kubiak is just there's just not. I don't think the Eagles are just equipped to stop the Saints. I don't think it's a fluke. I think they just have the right offensive mind over there, and I think they have too much at their disposal for that weak Eagles defense. I mean, I'm not impressed with the defense. I'm not impressed with decision making from Sirianni. Um, Still not sure what he does over there. Glorified mascot as a head coach, but hey, I got the Saints here. What you thinking?
I mean, this is gonna be an interesting one. I think for before Monday, the Monday night football game, I think Philadelphia might have been favored by 3 or by 2.5. So this is a 6-point switch, which is very, very interesting. That's a big, big shift when it comes to betting. But I mean, New Orleans, we played them and they smacked us in the mouth. I mean, that Clint Kubiak, he knows what he's doing. Again, he's from that coaching tree, the Shanahan coaching tree. They run a lot of motion offense, 12 personnel, 21 personnel, run heavy, all of it. The offensive line is playing well, and Philadelphia, the cornerbacks aren't really the best cornerbacks. So I can see, if the game script is in favor of New Orleans, I can see them pulling this out. But I don't want to sleep on Philadelphia playing them tough. I can give enough respect to that was a tough loss. That was a tough loss to the Falcons when they had the game won. And as much as annoying as Philadelphia is, they do have some decent pieces on the offensive line. So if they can get some pressure with their front four, Jalen Carter is disciplined. They could do some things, shake some things up. But as long as Derek Carr isn't turning the ball over, I think New Orleans could pull this one out.
I think that pocket's going to be pretty clean. Also, I'm seeing that C.J. Gardner Johnson he didn't practice today. You
Okay,
know, it's Friday the 20th, so
so
it
that
says he's
means he might be
questionable.
doubtful.
Yeah, it should be doubtful. It's ain't questionable, but to me, if you don't practice on Friday, you playing at noon. It's not like they're playing on Monday night. So
Now,
um,
Devontae Smith being a must start is that's kind of interesting to me. But I guess he's a must start because
there's no
AJ
AJ
Brown's
Brown.
out. But
Yeah,
I don't know. I think that would probably go under strong start if Malik Neighbors is a strong start. I would probably play Malik Neighbors going up against Denzel Ward before I played Devontae Smith if I had to.
Yeah, agreed. And I think they're just giving credence to the Eagles as a team. You know, they still get talked about like their Super Bowl run team, which it's just not the same team, it's not the same coaching staff, and they don't have that same momentum. There's no Jason Kelsey, there's no Fletcher Cox.
Yeah.
So
I mean, they
I
lost.
don't,
They lost solid core guys. I mean, they lost Jason Kelsey, who was the center. Jalen Hurts will probably be run. It's interesting because, and that's the thing. Right now we got data, but we still don't really know these football teams. I'm interested to see what kind of Jalen Hurts we get because in the first game he didn't run that much, but then in the second game he ran for over 80 yards. I think it's going to get something in the middle, but again, if Jalen Hurts is running with the football, that means he's not giving it up to Saquon. And I wasn't aware of this, but I guess Saquon doesn't have like he doesn't have the best hands. I guess he has serviceable hands, but like
the
you know what I
Giants
mean?
fans know that all too well. Trust. See, they
Right.
make fun of Danny for that. Ironically, it was against the Eagles where he went on that crazy long run and he tripped and fell.
Mm-hmm.
But last year, DeVito, we had the Packers game locked down. Saquon tripped on himself and fumbled, falling over, similar in like a Daniel Jones fashion. Fumbled it,
Right.
and DeVito had to save the day. They scored off that. They picked it up, returned it onto the other side of the field, and they scored. And DeVito had to do some late game magic, and so that would have cost us the game. So,
Yeah.
yeah, his hands aren't the best, but with that O line and his running ability, he's still, a stud running back.
Top.
So
Yeah. Right. And yeah, with Christian McCaffrey being out, definitely probably a top three back for the week.
for sure. All right, Chargers, Steelers, 36. That's what I guess the over under at. Um, we know what both these teams are want to do. So watch out for heavy run and see what they could do out the play action. And this is why I'm sort of leaning the Chargers, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Steelers, snuck this one out. I mean, what are you thinking?
I mean, again, this. It's weird because I always say it's the Mike Thomas spot, but this is also the John Harbaugh spot too. So you know what I mean? Like these cats do not want to score touchdowns. Well, no, I take it back. Mike
Yeah,
Tomlin could care
that's
less
crazy.
about scoring touchdowns, but Los Angeles Chargers, they want to score touchdowns with their running backs. They let the running backs get into the end zone. They don't mind that. But
Please keep that up. I got J.K. Dobbins actually scooped up just in case, given his injury history. I scooped up the rookie
Kamal,
Vidal.
Vidal Kamal, is that his
Yeah,
name?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Keyshawn something. Vidal.
So
But
yeah, so yeah, I I don't know, man. It's weird. You would probably think that I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan with how many times I just think that they're going to pull it out. So like Justin Herbert didn't practice today, and that's very important. You know what I mean? If you're playing a game without your starting quarterback, even if you don't want to throw the ball that much, and if he doesn't play, like obviously I'm gonna give the advantage to Pittsburgh. If he does play, I could see I might do a nice little sprinkle on the Chargers. Do a little sprinkle, see if they can pull up the upset against Pittsburgh at home. But again, this is a smash spot. TJ Watt, but he's going against two solid tackles, so it doesn't matter what side he's on. Um, he is going to be going up against some stalwart stalwart tackles. So we'll see how he plays. But I think that if Justin Herbert isn't in, this could be a bad day
I'm reading that
for the Chargers.
he admitted that it was a high ankle sprain.
Oh,
He's
that's
doing
cool.
everything possible and make sure it's flexible and stable. But he also said, luckily, it's only Friday, which I mean, whatever that means. So, I mean,
Yeah,
hopefully he plays. It'll make it a way more interesting game. If he doesn't play, then I'm not looking forward to this game anymore. Even though it's like with him, it's going to be the same game script, but he adds that dynamic piece to the offense where he
he's gonna
could
give you some
take the
nice
game over.
throws.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's gonna give you some nice throws, and Justin Fields again. Listen. Come on, man. I know they don't want to say it, but this is the team's quarterback. This
you
is the
gonna say
team's
this? You
quarterback,
gonna
man.
how many weeks you gonna say this? You gonna say this every week?
Yeah, every week that they got to talk about it, I got to talk about it too. So it's like, look, bro. I mean, he's perfect for this team, and like they were down to ride with Kenny Pickett. Like they were hell bent on it. Even the fans, you know what I mean. You couldn't say nothing about Kenny
Yeah,
Pickett.
because
So
he's the local kid. He went to Pitt. He played in the stadium.
right. It is like when you
Yeah,
see
well, he
Justin Fields, it's like
trash.
I see a guy that Pittsburgh can get behind. Personally. I mean, like when I see Justin Fields, that is a dude that they can get behind. And it's not like he can't get the ball to George Pickens. It's not like he doesn't have flashes of like, good arm, like great throws and good arm strength and all of that. He shows it. It's just he's inconsistent and he gets sacked a lot. But
Yeah, and if Herbert for some reason doesn't play, they got to rely on Easton Stick, but he's been in the building since 2019. So for
yeah.
whatever that's worth, and how you feel about North Dakota State quarterbacks.
Yeah. And Najee Harris, again, another must start right now. Not necessarily because of his talent, but because of the volume that he's receiving. He's getting the majority of the carries right now. Jalen Warren is probably getting closer to being healthy again. But again, he had a hamstring injury during the training camp, and this is going to be his the third game of the season. But he's probably healthier. I just don't know if they're going to ever really increase his snap rate to out.
Well,
He's
I
going to
mean,
out snap
it says they
Najee.
increased it in week 2 from 31 to 48%. So he had 11 touches in his own right, and I
Right.
don't mind running backs by committee. I'm a
Right. But
Najee
what's the
Harris owner, but
but yeah, but like ideally, I think ideally on a health like on his healthiest day, they want him to touch the ball 15 times. Like he probably won't get, and I have him, and I can't wait to where I know he's healthy and I can play him. But I know, like, I'm aware he's probably never going to get more than 17 touches a game. But again, if he's getting 17 touches a game, that's a fine flex spot for me.
no, I definitely feel that. So yeah, just wait on the Herbert news. I'm not really touching this game until um he's a game time decision. So
Yeah. And Quentin Johnson, I know he kind of he's a reclamation project, but we got to give a shout out to him. We was giving him hell throughout the whole entire off season and even at
hell,
the beginning of the year.
he was getting that Jalen Rager treatment.
Right. But, 2 touchdowns and 51 yards, man. I know it was against Carolina, but they got JC Horn over there and they were some contested catches. So we gotta give him his flowers when his flowers is due. He had a good game last week. Hopefully he can do it again.
Yep. All right, and I believe this is the last game of this early slate that we're going to go over.
Okay.
We got the Broncos going to Tampa Bay. Seems like they're putting a little bit of respect on their name. Not really. 6.5, I guess, is kind of expected. So
Yeah,
not
it's a
crazy.
touchdown.
Not crazy respect. But I mean, how you feeling about this? Bo Nix, a breakout? Your boy?
Hey man, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. Like, at what point, I'm interested to see when Sean Payton throws him under the bus, because Sean Payton doesn't take responsibility for anything,
Oh
and
shit.
like they suck. I mean, they suck. Bo Nix is not good. They did. All right, here's the thing about Bo Nix. They didn't have to draft him at 12. They didn't have to draft him in the first round. He was not a first round quarterback. They could have got him in the second round. But Sean Payton was like, "Oh, this is my guy," da, da, and everybody went for it and wanted to believe it. And then he goes out there and he's stinking it up. He's throwing it to the defense. And I'm not saying it's all his fault, but whose fault is it? Whose fault is it? And it's like Sean Payton stuck his neck out and said, "This is my guy." Over Penix, over all of those, he was like, "Yeah, this is the kid I want." All right, and it's not looking good. And I get it. It's only week 2, week 3, and it could get better. But I mean, it doesn't look good. It don't look good at all. So
Yeah, and I
we'll
mean, we saw Jared Stidham. He seemed pretty upset about not getting a nod. They kind of put Bo Nix in there like he's Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels. Like, oh nah, this is our guy. Do you
yeah.
think they should have sat him and let the
I
vet take
mean,
it for a
I
little bit?
think that I think what Stena was really actually upset with was like, yo, this isn't really a fair QB battle. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like, it was more like, they were saying it was a QB battle, but then it didn't play out that way. And I felt like now what we're watching, it's like, well, maybe he did have a point. Maybe he could have beat this guy out if he had a fair shot.
Now
And
I know you said that he would have been there in round 2, but do you think that the Raiders right after them would have took Bo Nix over Brock Bowers? I think is the question. Or
that's, I mean, I guess if you're that starving for a QB, maybe. But again, I didn't see it. And maybe they would have. Maybe you're right. Maybe they would have took him because the Raiders do need a QB at the time. Da da da. But I mean, I'm shoot. I know one thing: Raiders are happy they got Brock Bowers right now. Like, they're
hell
happy
yeah.
that they're happy that they're happy that the Broncos bit this bullet for them. So we'll see though.
Made it a pretty easy decision because I think the Raiders really wanted Penix, but
Right.
that's an amazing consolation prize in Bowers. But in this game, it's the usual suspects for the past couple years, man. Godwin, Evans, you know,
Baker, Baker
Baker.
QB1 right now. He's the quarterback one in fantasy football.
Yeah, I'm really rooting for Baker, man. He got a bad beat over the years. I like redemption stories like his. You know, a little cocky dude
Yeah,
plays with that moxie. Got humbled, went to Panthers, and then he went to his own rehab center with the Rams. Did his thing in that crazy drive against the Eagles. Got his chance in Tampa Bay, and I think he'll retire here. So
yeah. I mean, they love each other, and it's funny because it's like I think he's getting paid like 120 like 3 years, 100 million for 3 years, and you
steal.
know still, and I like it is funny because I mean I bet you that I think the Patriots were one of the people that were like considering paying him if he would have hit free agency, and like Patriots fans were like, yeah, I would have loved to pay him that. I would have loved to have paid him that because they could have paid Baker, they could have traded with you guys, you know what I mean, dropped back to 6, and they could have took either maybe the tackle wouldn't have been there, but they could have had Neighbors. You know, like they could have had Neighbors, and they could have had Baker and Neighbors, and they would have had something to work with.
Well,
And
I mean, I like what they're doing with Drake May over there. I know, like we're in this fast food, like
right,
instant
no,
gratification
right.
era, but
But
I think they
what
just
I'm
like,
saying is, yeah, they actually, you know, they were taking a look at Baker, but Baker just he signed a deal that he didn't even I don't even think he cared about the money. Honestly, I think he was so at home with Tampa. He was like, look, y'all took a shot on me. I got, you know what I'm saying? It worked out. Y'all looked out for me. You know what I'm saying? We're going to do this deal. And I like that. I like that deals like that can still happen in the NFL. You know what I mean? And I think that that's secretly what I'm hoping for Justin Fields. You know, like some type of story like this where it's like, all right, yo, we can work with this. We don't got to break the bank for the quarterback, but at the same time, he's still getting a respectable number, and the teams will be able to build around him, and the chemistry's perfect for our organization.
yeah. And on top of that, you got to look at, this is an underrated part about how players pick where they want to play, but he was playing in Cleveland, not the most lively or best city to be in. You know what I mean? And it's like, do I want to go play in New England with that rebuild, or do I want this structure here? No state income tax in Tampa, Florida.
Yeah, right. And Tampa, shoot, Tampa ain't a bad. That's not a bad place to, you know what I mean, to
Man,
be
I
at.
love
So,
Tampa. I love
right,
Tampa. Tampa is
right,
tough. Fuck with Tampa.
right. So he's living good, and I'm glad to see that work out for him. And I think that they're going to smack the Broncos this week, uh, fairly easy. I mean, unless we see some just a better output by the entire offense. I mean, even Javonte Williams. Look at what this says. It's like, yo, my man had 16 touches for 65 yards, but 48 of them came in the passing game, which in a PPR league, okay, that's not that big of a deal. But it's like, wait, what are you doing on the ground? What is going on? Like what?
Nothing. I need to. I'm a Pacheco owner, so I'm pushing out Javante and Najee, and I need them boys to be catching the ball if they're not getting in the end zone. So, hey, keep that up, Bo Nix. Keep dumping that ball off. Pad your numbers a little bit. And keep
Right.
it easy. Keep it simple for them, and
Right.
maybe you'll cover the 6.5. But I got the Bucks beating these guys by like 10 or something. I might do that little
Yeah.
reverse teaser and take
Right.
it at like 9
You
or
might get
something
a
like that.
you might
Nine
get
and a
messing with
half.
the Denver Broncos. I could see them giving you a garbage being they've been down the entire game, they've been losing the entire game, but they're only down by like 14 points and getting a garbage time touchdown to cover.
Yeah, I
Or
can say.
something
I
like that.
mean, yeah, something like that. But I mean, I think this is going to be one of the 0-3 teams for sure. I don't think this is
Mm,
like a super winnable game for them.
nah,
And
not against this Bucks team. And I mean, right now it's crazy. What is that the NFC West? Is that the NFC West? That division? That's I mean, they're like it's a crash course. You got the Saints and you got the
the
Bucks out
Falcon,
here
and then you
and
got
the
the
Falcons.
Falcons, and then they're running out the red rifle over there in Carolina.
Right.
Actually, we'll get to Carolina tomorrow because
Yeah.
that's the next game up on the docket. But Yeah, anything else on this? I mean,
Nah, I mean not nothing. I mean not yet. Tomorrow we'll go ahead. We'll give them the bets. We'll probably give them some start sits. Something like that. Some of the plays of the week. We'll give them a little bit tomorrow. But today I think we're good to go.
I say less. So that's the early slate, 7 games. Don't forget there's a Monday night doubleheader. So that's going to be dope. But yeah, besides that, we'll catch y'all tomorrow. Yeah, where we're signing out, man.
Holla at you.
Oh yeah, like and subscribe. Please
Like
do
and
that.
subscribe, please.
Out here.